As yet, but we can only work with what we have. We can only look at the patterns over the two games that we've seen. For Manchester City, the signs are encouraging, Joe, in that they look very comfortable in this game, but there's also a sense that there's more to come. There are more players to come in.
Yeah, 100%. They're by no means the finished article under Maresca, and he knows that, and the team know that, and there were some difficult moments tonight. I thought Palace had their moments where they could be in the game. But City looked, when they were on, they were hot. I think that sends a real message to the Premier League. They were just as dominant as Arsenal were in their opening game and as impressive as they were. Maybe not the full 90 minutes, but Manchester City really looked good today, and with bringing Bouhaddi on and potentially some more signings in the window, really good, really encouraging.
I mean, you mentioned earlier how important momentum is in games, and Palace did get that goal back to make it 2-1. But they also had opportunities at the end of the first half, in particular, to level things up. They didn't take their chances. It's a pattern that's continued, OK, only across two games, but from the opening weekend. In the absence of Jean-Philippe Mateta, who is going to be out injured for a little while if he stays at the club, because the rumours are that he's going to go, what do they do if Jurgen Strand-Larsen doesn't start scoring goals, if they don't start taking those chances?
Well, I think it's important to outline that those chances didn't fall to Jurgen Strand-Larsen. Not that it was a vintage performance by him. I think he's got to do more to be that platform to get the team further up the field. But yeah, I think the biggest worry is when a team isn't creating anything. When you're creating and missing, that can be remedied with a little bit of confidence, with a little bit of practice, and also creating those opportunities for the right people like Strand-Larsen, and not necessarily for the likes of Tyreek Mitchell.
Manchester City, though, on the score sheet 4 times in that game. In the first time in 181 league appearances, Ryan Cherki got a double. So too did Erling Haaland, for whom, of course, the feeling is a lot more familiar. Here they both are.
Erling, it seemed as if the players were really enjoying it tonight. What did you like about that performance?
No, I think we played well, and yeah, I mean, it's a new manager and all of that, but we've been playing together, most of us, of course, a few new players and that, but we know what to do, and we have to trust the system and trust Enzo what he wants us to do.
Yeah, Ryan, if Enzo wants you to do that, then you've certainly delivered. Tell me what was good about your performance today.
And we have to keep going, because we know how good Phil is, and it's about showing it week in, week out, and yeah, this is a right step in the right direction, I think, for everyone. I think Elliot as well was incredible, and yeah, we have to build on this.
Ryan, does it feel like a new beginning as well? I know it's obvious to say that in some respects because Pep has left and it's the end of the era, but does it feel like there are players already here stepping up and with different roles?
Yeah, of course, with Pep we have a big story. Now we start another story, and we need to prove all week, and we are here for that.
Well, they were 2 great performances, but Ryan, you are the player of the match. Erling, will you please give it him?
It's the first time he gave me assist, and the last time.
Well deserved. Next time, give me one assist.
Well done, lads.
Clearly a really lovely relationship between those two players, between Ryan Cherki and Erling Haaland, both of them on the score sheet with a couple of goals this evening. And Ryan Cherki, at times on the pitch, looked like he was showing a little bit of frustration, even maybe in the celebrations of the goals. We heard it a little bit in his interview, and possibly there's a language barrier there in terms of translating things slightly differently. But look, did you sense that frustration from him in terms of his performance and the celebrations?
The moment that he scored his goal and reacted how he did, I knew something was up. And I was trying to work it out for the life of me. Actually, I think, even though obviously he used a word that we don't ideally use on TV in English, I understand what he's saying, because he was poor in the first half, and he for his standard, he wasn't tracking back like a Manchester City player, and you could see frustration building up in him. And I think Maresca's called him out at half-time. And Ryan Cherki, as much as that will hurt him, that also lights a fire in this kind of guy. He's that kind of player who goes, OK, you're going to question me? And that was how he reacted after his first goal. He stood there, basically said, you're going to question me. And that is the beauty of being a coach and a manager. Everyone is not the same. Everyone can't just be Erling Haaland, sees the funny side of things. Everyone can't be a Phil Foden, will do whatever you need him to do. You need all different players to make this special team come together. And Ryan Cherki's fiery. You're going to have problems with him. Every now and again, you have to get him in the office, you're going to have an argument with him. But when you can get yourself on the same hymn sheet as him, and everyone playing for him and him playing for them, you've got a really special player.
And that's how Manchester City managed to get their second goal in the game at the start of the second half, was through Ryan Cherki.
Yeah, he took the game by the scruff of the neck. Like Joe said, he packaged that criticism, and he did what was needed for Manchester City, and he won them effectively, won them the game. This finish here, he gets it. He's surrounded by Crystal Palace players. He just dances through 4 of them, holds them off a bit of strength, and just pokes it towards goal. Wrong foot Henderson, but it's so special, isn't it, Joe?
It is, and he's one of those players that I'm never going to be able to understand. I'm a goalkeeper. I'm all about angles, work. He just feels the game. He's like gliding through. When someone makes a tackle, his body instantly reacts. And then he works out at that last bit. He's got that left foot chance as he's falling off balance to just poke it past Dean Henderson. He's an absolutely brilliant player. And if Manchester City can keep him fit and happy, he'll be such an important player in these teams that are going to play low blocks against us.
He can't be a commodity, though, can he? He's got to do the other side.
He does. And look, like I say, you've got to have that understanding. And I think it stood out in the first half. Yeah. It's not necessarily what he's going to do with the ball at his feet. He's accepted at Manchester City, he's going to take chances, he's going to lose the ball, but it's how you react. It's non-negotiable now, absolutely non-negotiable. You lose the ball, you get back in, and he wasn't doing it, and I think that's what would have been called out. And maybe they'll work on that. They'll have a laugh about it tonight because they won, but that's something he can improve on.
So he's the art and you're the science of the game.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that what we're saying on that one?
I'm just a goalie, that's all I have to know. He's the
just
artist.
a goalie.
I am just a goalie.
Just a goalie. One of the most important positions on the pitch, but OK, just a goalie. Shirky, obviously, as we've said, really important on the pitch. He's played in 181 league games, and this is the first time he's ever scored 2 goals in one game. Talk us through the second of those goals.
Well, I think it was so important. Like we say, it was off the back of, the Donnarumma own goal, and as it turns over, gets that turn, he only has one mind. I'm telling you, he meant business. He was rattled from whatever happened at half-time, and he was there to prove a point. Takes it on the half-turn, something again I couldn't even imagine doing with all those bodies around him. A little bit of luck. Feel for Dean Henderson, because you'll just see as Richards hangs a leg out here, he's already going down, and he almost makes a miraculous save, but that was really important in the flow of the game.
Really important in the flow of the game. And Erling Haaland, who had, how many touches was it, Glenn, in this game?
Well, at one point, I don't know what it was complete, but he was 17 when he scored the second.
By the time he scored the second goal. But we know that's part of his game. It's almost unremarkable now that he has so little involvement in terms of the direct touches. But he did manage to get another goal in this game. 20 touches by the end of it, 2 goals at the end of it. You don't mind that if you're a striker, do you?
That's like dreamland as a striker. Let everyone else do what they need to do and just put the cherry on top, and he does it so well, doesn't he? You can see him here. He's just trying to get a yard of space. Look, just not an awful lot of movement. Lets the defenders move around him and get attracted to the ball. And then once that ball comes to him, he lets it roll across him and makes absolutely no mistake. Pulled by Crystal Palace the way they've tried to play out there. I mean, you've got to look at that, you've got to question it. But once it comes to this man here, no mistakes, and it looks like Erling Haaland's back.
Erling Haaland back, that his second of the game, and we looked at the first of them in detail at half-time. But if you miss that, to add to this spectacular finish for his second goal, his first one was purely instinctive, Joe.
He's so clinical. The way there, he's just pulled off Richards, and he knows his angles, he knows he can go at the near post. But this one here, in a tight opening exchange between, well, Crystal Palace started probably the better and Manchester City grew into it. It's his movement. Glenn's already touched on Richards' role in the goal. But to be there at that angle, jumping, absolutely beasting what is around 3 or 4 defenders there, but he almost cushions it, and as I said at half-time, he almost lobs Dean Henderson. So calm, doesn't flash at it. And as it goes over Dean Henderson here, look at that. It's unsavable. It's absolutely unsavable. It's such a brilliant goal, and he's so calm in front of goal. He always believes in himself. He had a few chances last week that kind of snatched at a little bit by his standards. But we've just highlighted Richards. I think he had a tough night tonight. You can't give him that much space, can you, Glenn? Because this will happen.
You can't, you've got to get touch tight to him, but just the 3-4 steps and the power that he generates to get up for the ball it's world class. That's what it is. And when he's on form like this for Manchester City, it's a scary proposition. But is it going to be enough? Do they need somebody else as well to carry that burden throughout this season?
I think just on that as well, Glenn, he's been very used to having summers off, and he's just had an amazing big summer. And of course, he's enjoyed it, and it's grown him, scored some amazing goals, but that is taxing. He's probably, that Norway team's good. Every 2 years, and the Nations League now, he's going to have so many games, he's going to need some help.
That was City's 2000th goal in the Premier League. They're the sixth side to reach that total, and Erling Haaland has more than contributed to that tally. Crystal Palace did get a goal back in the game, as we said earlier, to make it 2-1, almost immediately replying to Ryan Cherki's first goal of the game that made it 2-0 to City. It would have been great if this was Jeremy Pino's goal, because it was such a fantastic free kick, but it goes down as an own goal. But the strike is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost perfect, isn't it? It does come back off the goalkeeper, which takes the gloss off it a little bit, especially for Pino himself. But at this point, Crystal Palace have got a foothold in the game. And Manchester City, I thought, dealt with it really, really well. Obviously, there was an air of fortune to the goal and the way it's gone in, but the way they dusted themselves down, and it was a credit to them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. And I think just from a goalkeeping point of view, I wanted to see it straight away from that sort of distance. That's the quality of the Premier League. I think Donnarumma's, what, 6'6", 6'7", got his steps in, set a brilliant strike, and he's done everything you can do from a goalkeeper's point of view, but unfortunately, it's just hit his back and put Palace back in the game.
I mean, there can't be many... I mean, it didn't happen to you. You scored
Thank
one
you.
own goal in your career, and that was for England under 21. So technically, probably doesn't exist on video anywhere, so we can't go back and watch it.
That's very true.
Which means it didn't happen.
No.
But yeah, there can't be many worse feelings than that, than having done everything that you can.
No,
and then you just feel it hit the back.
But I tell you, a whole worse feeling, Kelly, is when you see someone score past you and you don't go for it. Now, Donnarumma will, when he assesses that, like I say, he got the movement in, he flew after it, he got unlucky, but the amount of saves he'll make from going after lost causes and then lie on the floor and think, how on earth have I saved it? It's worth it. It's worth it 100 times over.
It's even worse, Kelly, when someone scores offside against you.
If anybody missed that, the last time that Crystal Palace beat Manchester City at Selhurst Park, the opening goal of that game was scored by Glenn Murray against Joe Hart. There is some debate in the studio as to whether there was offside either in the build-up to that game or whether the goal scorer himself was offside. We will leave the men to discuss that between themselves over the course of the evening. However,